have you ever noticed that when you are going through periods of inner confliction, when you are conflicted within, if you look a little bit closer, you will see that the experience is internal, but almost always it is connected to something external. And by inner conflict, I mean three things. You don't really know what you want. You're not sure what you're supposed to want. And you're not sure if you'll want this later. And the conflict is just growing. Do I want it later? Is this something which is going to lead me and help me to get and accomplish and do and become? But yeah, I wanted that before, but others are wanting something different, and I maybe should be focusing more on, because look around, but yeah, I've done that before and I want, like, oh my gosh, you just don't know. Am I ready? Am I not? Do I want to build my business? Do I want to work on myself? Do I want to? Yeah, but look around. It's very connected to the outside. Now, if you could have the frameworks which could help you, the tools to separate a little bit the outside from the inside, you'll start to realize one thing, that the experience is internal and it feels so true. But it is connected to something from the outside. And what I would like you today is this. As hard as it might sound and as painful as it might feel, to realize the fact that we humans, when we start to put at war our feelings, our emotions, and our minds, the war never ends and the conflict keeps rising. And another critical stage is we start to be conflicted about who we are. Because when you start to doubt too much about the outside, what you do, where do you go, what do you like, what do you prioritize, if we don't get that in order, which we will today, then you start to be conflicted about who you are. And this, my friend, is a very, very painful stage to be. But we will try to solve it today at the third stage of this video. In the first two stages of this video, I would like to share with you a framework that helped me, being an emotional man, a very impulsive man, which used to make decisions after decisions and just jumping from one thing to another without looking within and realizing that the experience is internal. But if I try to solve that conflict through the things which are outside of me, this war will never end. And this framework helped me to narrow a little bit the area where I look, where do I put my focus, and what are the right questions, so that I can say, okay, wait a second. If I truly look within through the right lenses, there are fewer conflicts. But that requires courage, which I'm sure you do have. And that's what we're going to do today. The three stages, the three domains of inner conflict, the three layers, veils on top of this internal war. And we'll attempt to take one veil and then the second, so that we can look within and see that there are fewer conflicts. But you can see that only if you take the outer layer and then the second layer, so that we can look as deep as possible. That's what we will try to do today. This framework helped so many people whom I serve and help. And I really hope you're going to answer sincerely, honestly, without trying to make it interesting, nice, logic, or reasonable. You'll find a level of self-honesty, and to separate not only the outer from the inner, but also to look in the inner space, which is you, your mind, your soul, your spirit, and to start to understand, these are the voices. Now let me look, where do they come from, so that I don't become the slave of these voices and keep myself constantly in this inner conflict, which is a very painful stage to be, but it's great also, because sometimes when opportunities comes to us, they don't come shouting out their name. We have to recognize them. We have to learn how to interact with them, and we have the power and the freedom to test, to experiment, to look within, but it's also on our shoulders. It's not something that comes and say, hey, I'm your answer, take me. It's a two-side interaction. So the first layer which keeps us in our inner conflict is the temporal layer. The temporal layer is a very simple thing, but it can help you so much. You have no idea. Look, very simple. Past, present, and future. The first question I want you to ask yourself is this. In the situation where you are conflicted about, in that area, think about that conflict, think about that dissonance, that discordance, that lack of harmony is between what? What are the parts which are equally powerful, and they try to convince you that you have no options between these two, because both of them sounds reasonable, or three or four, all of them sounds reasonable, all of them make sense, but that's the external. Now, before we get to the second stage, at the first stage, ask yourself, am I worrying? Do I worry that while you're in that conflict, that my past will be like my future? Do you worry that no matter what decisions I'm going to make, no matter where I'm going to go, I know that eventually, while I'm going to make decisions, eventually I'm going to make the same mistakes I used to make in the past, and I'm almost sure that my future will be very similar to my past, and I don't want that. As long as you feed this worry that your past might become your future, and you want a better future than your past, this worry is going to become your superpower, which will empower you, quote unquote, to generate more conflict, more worry, more unclarity, more confusion. So sometimes what's in front of us, it's not so complicated, but it becomes complicated because of this emotion of worry that my past is gonna catch me, and no matter what decisions I make now, my future might be something like in the past. Think about it. If you have this worry, understand, please, that as long as you keep feeding it, nothing is going to make sense, because it clouds your mind, it clouds your spiritual strength. As a man of faith, it took a decade for me to realize that worrying is simply not trusting that God is in control. I don't know about you, but when I realized this for me, it took away the right to flirt with this worry whenever I want, just because I want to outsmart my mind using this emotion. The second fear about this temporal framework is that you are afraid. Now you are afraid that your future is going to be like your past. If in the first part is you are focused on your past mistakes, on your past self, on your old mind, some people are more connected to the past and their worry. Some people are more focused on the future. Ask yourself and find which of these two is more powerful to you. If somehow you feel that your past is going to control your future, or you are very focused on the future, but actually you really try to outsmart the past in the future, and your future decisions, actually you're feeling tempted to make something which is just simply different than the past. But when you're about to make that decision, your soul starts to realize one thing, that this is not what you're supposed to do, because you just simply try to make something better that you've done in the past just to bury it, so that you can shut down that sense of guilt that in the past you were not as good as you could have been. So let me try to make as fast as possible, as soon as possible, a decision which could look much better than the past, so that I can sleep at night that I've done everything I could today. And if you have this fear, this noise, again, it is going to cloud your mind. And it's going to, because if you're in this second category where you worry much more about the future and you're afraid that the future is going to become like your past, probably you experience this dynamic where you're numb, like you don't know what you want, you don't know what to do, you don't know how to take action. But then as soon as like something clicks a little bit, you're like, okay, this is what I should do, this is what I should do. Okay, yes. Well, that's because you're not reasoning clearly about what you want, but you simply want to shut down that numbness, and you're ready to jump on whatever option there is in front of you, just to make sure that I'm not doing the same exact thing which I'm used to do in the past. And by that, I'm changing, I'm doing my best. But then you realize that's not my path. So what to do? I would like you to think in this way. So I'm going to give you the framework for this temporal layer. What to do? I would like to suggest to you, but it's up to you to choose and reflect upon it, is probably you think about your past as you being condemned by these, condemned about the past. Think of it as just being conditioned by these. I mean, not that you are conditioned, hey, because of that, I'm conditioned too. But hey, in the past, you've gone through experiences, you've made some choices, maybe you've been some trauma and stuff, and some events, some coincidences, some serendipities led to the moment where you are now. Well, it conditioned it helped you, it forced you to gain some experience, some knowledge, some wisdom about you, about the world, about your business, and so on and so forth. Let it to work for you, but don't feel as being condemned by your past. That's not your prison sentence. And even if it still has weight and value, that past, okay, that was something that could serve me in the future, but you're not sentenced to live in line with that past. For the present, if sometimes you feel condemned by that past, and I don't mean here in the spiritual meaning when the sense of your consciousness is telling you, look, you've done some mistakes there, go and solve them. So you feel condemned, guilty for the mistakes you've done. If that's so, and if you think about it and you believe you have to go and repair them, then go and repair them. Let that condemnation to push you to become a better person. But I mean generally about the past and experience, putting them all together. Don't let it to condemn you to live a life in prison, in inner conflict, just because the past was that way. Detach a little bit. So rather than feeling very critical about yourself, because I know if you're more into that, like that kind of person or at that kind of stage, and that it makes you to think that you're that kind of person, but you're simply at that stage, just be more conscious about it. Hey, wait a second. Am I reasoning consciously, or is this something I think for myself, or I put so many details around me which are forcing me to think in a way or another? So rather than being critical, because the critical is connected to the past mistakes, put that aside. Yeah, that conditioned me to gain the experience, the knowledge, the wisdom, that's good. But am I conscious about this conflict through which you're going right now? So that the future, I have my notes here, rather than resulting in being confused, you can transform it into being creative. Hey, I don't know how, but I know I can be creative. I know I can play with it. So no matter the decisions I'm going to make, if you try the first one to say, okay, my past is not my sentence for my future. Oh, okay, good. Now I'm going to try to be a little bit less critical with myself. Just try and say, yeah, but that was the past and the wrong, that. But just say, okay, good. Let me be just more conscious about it. And you can become more conscious if you stop being so critical with yourself. If you keep going being critical about the past, you hardly can be conscious. You're forced, you're pushed, influenced by other forces. When you start to be more conscious about your present, where you are now, what you've got, all the gifts, all the possibilities, the life, the energy, the experience, then you can start to say, okay, these are the players which I can put at game and start to make some conscious decisions. So you might be feeling already that inner conflict is fading already. You might be feeling your shoulders going down and you say like, oh, wait a second, yeah, that makes sense to me. Yesterday I was in a session with a man, and just while we were speaking, his shoulders were just going down because he just realized that he wanted to impress so many members of his family through his business that there was no space for business in his mind and no space in place for himself into all these decisions which were in front of him. All of them were created projections of his past fears and these desires to not look like he used to look before in front of them and trying to press them like, oh my gosh, that's an endless path towards confusion. And yes, if you feel that your past is your prison sentence and you're condemned, then you're going to be very critical about you, about your past, about your future, and you'll be very confused about everything which is in front of you. So, the past conditioned you. It's your ability and capability to be more conscious in the present by separating a little bit the past and the future so that you can be less confused and more creative. Along the way, you'll find the answers, you'll know where to look and how to do it. The second framework, so the first one is the temporal. I'm going to leave the past, the present, and the future. The second framework, there we go. The second framework is the rational framework. It's a simpler framework. Is the rational. What does that mean? That means that we process so much in the mind, we start to think that we are only our mind. Other people get stuck into their emotions. So this is mind. This is the emotional aspect. A very interesting thing about emotions and feelings. Just a side note is that emotions don't necessarily have feelings, but the feelings might have the emotions we assign them to have. The feelings don't necessarily have an emotion. So when an emotion is connected to a feeling, is in our power to assign a different emotion to the same feeling. The feelings are not married to the emotions. Interesting, just a side note. Interesting, right? So some of the people think that they are only their mind and they get stuck here. Now I would like to ask you, what is the order of these layers? What's the number one, what's the number two, and what's the number three? Like, how do we organize it? And you might say, okay, what do I have here to organize, and how is this holding me confused, stuck in this inner conflict? Because I just want to know, what do I want, where should I go, and what's the best decision, who am I? Well, if you only think about who you are, you'll be stuck in your mind, and you'll be very, very confused, and you'll be also constantly conflicted between who you are and where do you want to get and what's the exactly next step. So the mind should always answer the question how. The emotions, what for? And the spiritual is why. Now, when you think about the conflict you're going through right now, if you ask yourself, why am I thinking between this option and that option, and that option and that option? If you try to solve the why through your mind, you'll be constantly doubting. Because why do you you take a path, a journey? It's never rational. But if you want it to make sense, it's because you're very critical to yourself, and you're very critical with yourself because you feel condemned by your past. We talked that in the first one. So assuming that you start to train yourself to separate the past and the future, and start to realize that you can be conscious about right now rather than being critical with your past, and to start being so worried and afraid that the fact that the past might become your future, or that your future will be the same as the past. Assuming that you start to train yourself and start to focus on what you've got now, and the gifts and the possibilities you've got now. Assuming that whatever decision you're about to make, it is never rational. And this is an assumption, is a confusion many people go through. They think that every decision should be rational. Well, my friend, the way moving forward after the decision was taken should be rational. 100% critical thinking, analytical thinking. By the way, if this sounds interesting but a little bit still complicated for you, and you can't figure out how do you do it exactly, in the description below there's a link for a 5 days free challenge. It's a mission challenge which will help you to go through these internal dynamics and to make sure that what's happening inside is going to happen in the outside, rather than letting the outside to decide your internal dynamics. And if you want to make this separation, and you want to make sure that you look around only for the reason to find what you can do and serve, but then you go internally. Okay, what are my principles? What's the plan? What's the solution? What's the strategy? How am I going to implement it so that you can be a man on a mission? That's exactly what you would like to access right in the description below. So don't hesitate, and it's free. So what could stop you? Now, use the spiritual as for the why. And you might say, okay, wait a second, how do I use my spirituality to answer the why? Value, purpose, and care. The question that you might ask yourself to understand what are the gifts God gave you is to ask yourself, what do I care about? And answer with using everything except you. So we do care about ourselves, about our health and our respect and dignity, 100%, no doubt about it. Just put them aside a little bit and ask, hey, what do I care? Do I care about people about that phenomenon? What do you care? Because I assure you one thing, that God doesn't make mistakes, and that's the third framework for every person. God has a plan and a purpose. The 3 P's, which make this clarity, inner clarity, always this tower standing. God for every person has a plan and the purpose. But we'll get to that in the 3rd stage. So what do you care about? So now you're going through this conflicted stage. What do you care about the most? And don't lie to yourself about what you're supposed to care, what feels more noble, what is going to be more profitable, what is going to bring more clients. Don't think about that, my friend. God is going to take care, and you're going to follow along the way. Ask yourself, what do you care deep down? You see, if you ask me, do I care about architecture or buildings? I mean, I love them, I like traveling, but I don't care deeply about the designing and architecture and stuff. I don't really care about it. Do I care about programs, computers and stuff? No, I like using them. I don't care. Now, what do you care? Well, I care about humans' lives. I really care the fact that people are starving themselves because of the lack of self-understanding. And great people, entrepreneurs, which I'm really find connected to is they want to serve, they want to do great things, but they can't manage themselves because they can't figure out what are an emotion, what's the mind, and what's my spiritual purpose, and they make a mess out of it. And I really care about that because I know that one question, 1 minute out of those 5 days, 3 days challenge can solve that one big question which you might looking for, not because I have the answer, but because you're going to see the answer for yourself. And that's what I care for. And when I care about that, I can forget about my sleep. I can just put my whole self on 100%, 200% on it, because that's what I care about. That's why, because that's what I didn't have in the past. And that conditioned me to care about this for me. And I spent time to understand and study and practice and test, and then start helping friends and people around me, and then even more. And then working as a personal trainer, I started to mix my training sessions with emotional support, with psychological assistance, consulting them. Here we go. And things started to grow. Like from where I was, I started to apply that care with the people which were around me. So, as I said before, if you can start to separate the past, the present, and the future, you'll start to see so much clarity. Things are going to be narrowed down, and then all this confusion starts to fade out a little bit. Wow, that's amazing. That's amazing. I'm seeing you now going through this conflict and getting the clarity. It makes me excited. Let's go. I care about that. Oh my God. So, okay, back to the rational. So, if you have a decision now to make, ask yourself, what do you care the most about? Because in that decision, in that conflict, there are different players, different voices. Okay, what do you care the most? That's the spiritual. These should be the number one. Okay, good. And use the number 2 for the emotional. While you are feeling in a way or another, you might feel scared, you might feel that you're not ready, you might feel that like but emotions, they start bubbling, okay? Use that emotion to ask yourself, okay, good, if this is what I care for, what I care about, and if the emotions are so positive and I feel enthusiastic when I start to think about what I care, okay, good, what for can I use these gifts? What for can I use this energy? What for can I use this decisional power? What for? What can how it can make the world a better place and my life a better place? And don't worry, my friend, about the how. Don't worry about the how. You'll think about that later. Don't try to figure out the how when you're conflicted. Don't try to think about how exactly is going to take place this process once you make the decision, because that's a mystery, my friend. Every day brings its surprises and conclusions and ideas, and the most important, you are going to change. Who you're going to be tomorrow morning is not the person you are today. Every day you change, you change, you change, you change. I really hope you do. But even if you don't, you still do. And this is the number 3. So again, we talk now about the layers, not about the details. And for details, click the link in the description. Let's go. I can help you with that. So here is what you care for. Here are the values. What do you value the most when you think about the how, about the process, and you sort of think, okay, good. So after you answer the first and then the second, what for? What's the purpose? What's the purpose of this care? What's the purpose of this passion which is within you? That thing which you do care the most about. Always remember about when you answer the why. Don't put yourself on the pedestal. Don't put you. I care about me being. No, that is going to happen if you can get over yourself and put yourself aside and start to realize, what do I care about? Who do I care for the most? This doesn't mean that you care less about something else, or you don't care at all about other things. So what do you care the most for? And if you could just overcome this self-obsession for a few minutes and ask yourself, what do you care the most for or about? You'll be less focused on yourself, and then you'll start to have a glimpse of the purpose. Oh, wow. So I do have this passion, this gift, and I don't feel condemned by the past. I feel conditioned by it because it helped me to be where I am now so that I can make the best decisions now. Okay, good. Then what's the purpose? You'll start to have a glimpse of the purpose because God gave you these gifts in the past, helped you to reach this moment where you are now. Don't feel condemned for the fact that you are in a little bit of conflict right now. All right. And then think about the how. And while you're going to think about the how, make sure that you don't compromise yourself again. Because the reason we find sometimes ourselves very conflicted and confused where we are right now, it's because we compromise the values. We've compromised what we cared for. What was once our North Star, we compromised it. We overstepped it. And then we lose ourselves. So now back in game. Now, if you are going to focus on what you care the most about, not you, but something on the outside, you'll start to have a glimpse of your purpose, what you can be useful and serve. Then, while you start to make the first decisions, please, my friend, make sure you're not overstepping your values. The spiritual is always on the first place, so that you can stay aligned with what you care and with your purpose. Because sometimes we start to clean the room, we start to make the great decisions of our lives, and we're enthusiastic and we start boldly to move forward. But then when comes the first challenge, God tests you, then what do? We step backward and we say, all right, it's all right. I can cover it somehow. No, that comes at a price. That comes at a price sooner or later. Don't overstep the values. This is the second layer, and we're going to move in the third layer, which is it's going to be very short because we have already mentioned it. We're included it in these two layers while I was speaking about this. The number 3 is the divine layer. Now, once we get clear a little bit about the temporal layer, okay, good. That's the past, that's the future. I'm not forced and condemned. I can use it. I can be a little bit less critical and use the critical for the later when I go to the second layer. Once we resolve a little bit this veil, we put it aside, then we go a little bit deeper and then we say, I have a rational mind which thinks rationally, don't use it for the purpose. Then I have the emotions. The emotions are great. They stir things up. They start the motion, but I have to be careful that my emotions are a byproduct not of my worry and stress in my past, but that I enjoy the emotions coming from the purpose and from the gifts given to me and from the answer of the question when you ask yourself, what do I care the most about? So when you ask yourself what do you care the most about, and you're going to sit in that answer, you're going to see some answers coming up, and then you'll start to experience some emotions, and those emotions is what you can use to start to take action. And once you make the decision, when it comes to take action, then use your mind to be more strategic, which is a very important thing, to be critical thinking, to be analytical thinking, 100%, while maintaining the first two and not putting your mind on a pedestal. The divine layer are the 3 magical P's. For every person, God has a plan and a purpose. Now, I can't make you to believe what I'm saying, but I can ask you this one thing. Do you think that because you are unique and your story is unique, everything about you is a little bit different than for somebody else's? The dynamics, the principles are often similar, but the way you go through it and what do you care about and the way you care about what's valuable to you, it's very unique. How is that interesting? Just think about it. We know that our fingerprints are different. We know that everybody has a different story. How is that so? If there wasn't God, if there wasn't a God that had a plan for you and a purpose, then wouldn't it be also acceptable for the things to be just also extremely or 100% equal between them, like the same? No, there is a unique path there because there is a plan behind it. And again, I can't make you to believe it, but think about it. because of the fact that everybody is unique. That's exactly God's finger in this process, in this creation, this story, His beautiful plan. If you just don't resist it for a few minutes, you'll realize that, like, oh, wait a second. So that I can make my decisions in such a unique way, which don't have to be aligned and make with others and make sense to others. So have this inner space and place and an area where you can make things unique. Because if you are unique, then your decisions can be unique. The way you can move forward can be unique. Isn't this beautiful? Isn't this beautiful? To understand that actually what was given to you in such a unique way that no matter where you're going and no matter what kind of decisions you're going to make, because you are unique, they don't have to be similar to others. It's your area, your house, your responsibility, your path, your destiny, your God's plan for you is unique for each of us. Doesn't it feel a little bit empowering? But sometimes we refuse this uniqueness. We say, no, I don't want to receive these gifts. I don't want to feel comfortable in the boat God gave me. No, I don't want that. Let me try to make it similar to others. Yes, but you're unique. Therefore, sooner or later, we have to start to make decisions according to this principle, which is you are unique. And for every person, God has a plan and a purpose. Don't run away from that uniqueness. Don't try to make it similar so that it can make sense to others. Because if that was true, then on this earth, there could have been people which have the same character, personality, story, past, future, present. But that's just not the case. So why do we then run away from it? Now, you might say, yeah, but I feel scared. I feel scared to draw the line of my life in front of me and just meet every moment as a gift, as a moment of change. Like, that feels so a bit scary. I want principles. I want rules. I want things which are going to reassure me, hey, this is what you have to do. What you have to do, only you know and God knows. Nobody knows what you have to do. How to? Where is the mind thing? No problem. Use it, connect, he'll ask for help, put people, hey, please, do you have an option? Do you have an idea? Can you make me to shake hands with somebody? Or like, what do you think about these opinions and stuff? No problem. When it comes to how, but why? And what? The purpose and what you care for? That's yours. But don't see it as a burden, as a responsibility. See it as a gift of freedom to a certain degree that God gives you. Feels so good, doesn't it? So, in conclusion, don't feel condemned by your past. Use it as conditions. Hey, I've been conditioned to become, to learn, to study, to know, to find out. When you go into the present, more conscious, less critical. When you go into the future, more creative, less confusion. It comes automatically. Okay, once you separate that, you'll find your answers. Okay, good. Now I go a bit lower. Am I worrying too much about the mind or too much about the emotions and too less, not enough about the spiritual? Good. Let's embrace the spiritual. Or the gifts and the inclinations God have already put within you. Has put within you. So it's like, okay, that's what I care for. Good. Enjoy. Stay into that state. Good. That's what I care for. Am I sure? Am I sure I'm not caring about this because it makes me looking away or another? Do I care about this because it makes sense? And like, don't think about that. Just like, make sure you really care about something in the world. And I know for sure, because that's always the case. Why? Because God has a plan and a purpose for every person. I know deep down you do care about something more than about everything else. I know it. And if you don't know, let's find out. Click the link in the description below. Let's go through it. I know. It's not I believe. It's not that. I hope. I know. You don't believe? Try it out. Then when you start to bring a little bit of order in this second layer, all right, good. The third one, which is just like knock out all of them. God has, for every person, has a plan and a purpose. And if we can do what we can do, and not only if, but when we start to make more efficient and to use the energy and the powers which are given to us, then we start to embrace this unknown and we start to move forward with a calmer energy, a more aligned energy, and, my friend, you'll see God's finger at work in your life. And I care so much about that you can start to see it as soon as possible. So take care, be bold, courageous, and we'll see you in the next one. Take care. Bye-bye.